Snow White is actually written by Greta Gerwig, who also wrote Barbie and Lady Bird and Princess Ha, and we've been talking about her a lot recently because of Barbie, but also she's one of my favorite writers and directors. I've liked her since high school, so this pains me because what she is doing with Snow White seems absolutely terrible.
Dude, I trusted you. I trusted her.
Because she's involved, I want to believe that this movie will have some redeeming qualities. Will I actually watch it? Probably not. But I hope that it does for those of you who do watch it. But the lead actresses, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, are making it very, very difficult for me to believe that there is anything redeeming about this project whatsoever. Now, I am sure that we have all seen this viral clip, but let's just watch again.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be,
Oh.
and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
Oh my god, it's a really incredible story. You're making this girl boss story based on an important father figure. Her father tells her to be brave and strong. Don't you think that there's something redeeming about men in this story? Oh, that just stood out to me. This is the first time I noticed that, even though I've watched this like 6 times now.
Just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign.
I am. Why do they look so smug? They both have that look on their face, just like the feminists, like, yeah, we're so much better than you. Anyway,
Recent developments have added a new twist to the Snow White story and the fierce rivalry between Brett Cooper and Rachel Zegler. Brett Cooper, a popular YouTube personality, has gained attention not only for her role in a rival Snow White adaptation by the Daily Wire, but also for the controversy surrounding her departure from the company. Allegedly forced out under hostile circumstances, Cooper has remained silent, fueling speculation about the Daily Wire's financial troubles and the erratic behavior of CEO Jeremy Boring. Despite these challenges, fans have celebrated Cooper's casting as Snow White, as her approach stays true to the classic tale's charm and romance. Her interpretation, rooted in traditional values, has been widely praised, much to the dismay of Rachel Zegler. Zegler, who faced backlash for her modernized feminist take on the character, has openly criticized Cooper's adaptation, labeling her critics as outdated. This is more than just a battle between two Snow Whites. It's a cultural clash highlighting deep divisions in Hollywood and beyond. While Cooper's portrayal is seen as a refreshing return to the classic tale, Zegler's approach remains controversial. With the Daily Wire's financial struggles adding to the drama, the Snow White controversy has taken on new dimensions, capturing the attention of fans and critics alike. The real question is, did Disney go too far in rewriting a beloved classic to fit modern narratives, or is Brett Cooper's traditional take exactly what audiences have been craving? Buckle up, this story is just getting started.
in that trailer, and I'm still like so excited and I get chills.
There I am, Gary, there I am.
The whole thing is just so cool. The moment when the music starts to crescendo as I turn around, when I first heard the music, I was like, stop right there. That's just so amazing. Funnily enough, I recorded the song without hearing the rest of the trailer's score, so I had no idea what it would sound like. I had no idea what Jeremy and his team were envisioning, and he was actually writing the song and writing the music in between takes while he was directing Pendragon. We were texting back and forth trying to figure out the right key and what it was going to sound like, and he was sending me messages like, I'm so sorry, I'm in the middle of, a glacier valley in Italy, and my songs aren't going through, but we figured it out.
And I saw myself on screen and I just wanted to throw up. I was so happy about it. And it was the most incredible experience. And the fan reaction was insane. We didn't even see what they were clapping for. I think it was good. I don't know.
Sizzle. We didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Adding to the drama, the Daily Wire is reportedly facing severe financial troubles. Internal sources suggest that CEO Jeremy Boring has been taking desperate measures to manage the growing crisis, even allegedly bugging the office. This turmoil adds another layer to Cooper's transition into her new role as Snow White in an independent production. The timing of these developments is significant. As Cooper steps into the spotlight for her portrayal of Snow White, her past with the Daily Wire raises questions about what is happening behind the scenes. Could these internal struggles impact her ability to embrace her new role, or will they only strengthen her position as a resilient figure in this high-stakes Hollywood showdown? The Daily Wire's financial troubles also cast a shadow over its ambitious expansion into entertainment. While Cooper's Snow White project gains traction and praise for its faithfulness to the original story, the bigger question remains: Can the Daily Wire recover from these internal struggles and maintain its influence in the cultural landscape? Now, let's take a step back and understand how we got here.
Andrew Burnap, all of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
I say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
And we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
Not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
I mean, a couple of things. Obviously, dude, so much has gone on. Trailers have come out. Like, that's crazy pants. Are you kidding me? I'm like,
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
Right. Every time that a celebrity gets like one DM that says KYS, they're like, I'm getting death threats. Someone save me, but not a prince. Don't
Anybody but a prince.
Don't you dare save me.
Well, she's like, I'm getting these death threats, and the cops were like, well, save yourself. Like,
yeah, you're a girl
I saw that.
aren't you?
I saw that interview. Save yourself. You'll be fine.
What is this movie all about? Like, what started it off? Where did you get the first idea for it? And what are you hoping to accomplish with this one?
So we got the idea for it literally the day that Rachel Zegler did an interview in which she said that she hated the original Snow White and wanted to rip the guts out of it.
Weird.
And then Disney released those ridiculous cast photos of dwarves that were not dwarves, the multiracial, multi-ethnic, tall people and one dwarf. This is how we make decisions at the Daily Wire. I literally just emailed that to my business partner, Jeremy Boring, and I was like, we should do something like this. And Jeremy's like, okay, we're just going to make Snow White, but we're going to do it to all the specs, with music, with singing, with the original storyline in classic fashion that imbibes from the original well of the values. Specifically because if Disney wants to cede that field to us, we'd be fools not to take it. And we're kind of shocked by the fact that no other studio
expected the reaction that came with the Disney version of Snow White. There's certainly been people who have been less enthusiastic about the live action remakes they've done. I'm definitely one of them. It was very much a case of, okay, here comes another one. Then they cast Rachel Zegler as Snow White, and you think, okay, well, it's a race swap of the character, and it seems a bit nonsensical given the nature of the Germanic legend. But okay, fine.
And the name of the movie, and the plot of the movie. And
exactly.
The fact that, if you want, like, I don't care about the skin color of the characters, but when the literal line from the movie is skin as white as snow,
yeah,
and that's why her name is.
On the surface, this may seem like a simple creative disagreement between two actresses, but a deeper look reveals a high-stakes competition for public approval. Rachel Zegler, once seen as a rising Disney star, now faces backlash due to her dismissive comments about the original Snow White, which alienated fans. Enter Brett Cooper, an outsider to Hollywood, coming from a politically charged platform. She has embraced the role of Snow White with genuine enthusiasm for the classic tale, which has made her immensely popular. This rise in Cooper's popularity likely unsettles Zegler, who may see it as a threat to her credibility and relevance. The timing of Zegler's criticisms, just as Cooper's performance gains momentum, suggests an attempt to undercut her competitor. Zegler's insecurity seems to be at the root of her attacks, as her version of Snow White has already been criticized for being too modernized and disconnected from the original. Meanwhile, Cooper's deep appreciation for the classic story has struck a chord with audiences. At its core, this rivalry is not just about two actresses, but also about two different storytelling philosophies. Zegler's vision of a fiercely independent Snow White aligns with Hollywood's modern trends, while Cooper represents a counter-movement that values preserving timeless narratives. Ultimately, Zegler's criticisms of Cooper reveal more about her own struggles. She appears to be redirecting attention from her own backlash rather than addressing it directly.
Guys, and welcome to the Brett Cooper Show. I am so happy that you guys found me over here on this new channel. I am so excited to start this new chapter with you guys. We have been hard at work behind the scenes, literally boots on the ground, me and my 80-year-old neighborhood grandpa putting shiplap up on the ceilings to cover up my 90s popcorn ceilings that I thought you guys would not find aesthetically pleasing on a set. We're literally in a room at my house. We put this all together. Anyway, I am so excited to bring this new show show to you and show you guys what we have been working on. So my goal with this new show is to foster understanding, to go deeper and extract substance in the stories and issues that matter most to us, the issues that impact us on a daily, personal basis.
How has Brett Cooper's faithful approach to Snow White intensified the backlash against Zegler's modernized vision? Cooper's version of Snow White is a tribute to the Brothers Grimm's tale and Disney's original animated classic. Her portrayal, emphasizing love, kindness, and resilience, has been widely praised for respecting the story's legacy. Fans describe her performance as heartfelt and authentic, appreciating that it brings Snow White back to life as they remember her. In contrast, Zegler's modernized version, which removes romantic themes and focuses on female leadership, has been heavily criticized for disregarding core elements of the original narrative. Zegler's public statements, including her apparent dislike for the 1937 film, have only fueled the backlash. Cooper's love for the original story directly contrasts with Zegler's dismissive attitude, creating a clear divide. One actress honors the story's roots, while the other seeks to rewrite them. As a result, fans have rallied behind Cooper as the true heir to the Snow White legacy. This has turned into more than just a casting decision. It's a cultural debate. Online discussions increasingly frame Cooper as a symbol of resistance against Hollywood's modernized takes on beloved stories. Her warm and positive demeanor starkly contrasts with Zegler's defensive responses, further amplifying the backlash against Zegler's portrayal.
I'm also really tired. I never wanted to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats. And maybe that's a weird takeaway.
Even more bad news for Disney's Snow White remake coming out next year.
I'm a narcissist.
There's another Snow White movie competing with it. It's called Snow White and the Evil Queen, and the producer promises to be more faithful to the spirit of the original animated classic.
Walt once said about Snow White, to me, I thought it was the perfect story. Unfortunately, the company Disney founded doesn't agree with their founder.
Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot interview talking about this dumbass new Snow White live-action movie is so funny. Everyone working on this movie seems to hate the original. Why didn't we just make a brand new movie? I don't know, Jack. I ask that every single time I do one of these episodes. I would really, really love to know. Here's a couple of TikToks. I mean, they've been all over my For You page right now, which I really appreciate.
Adriana Caselotti walked so that you could run Miss Ma'am. This role would not exist for you if that role had not existed for her in 1937. I know that you've rewritten it, and it's going to be about a Snow White that don't need no man to save her. Did you ever stop to think that in this day and age, that is exactly what we want? There are women in this world who want that fairy tale because all they've known is the exact opposite. And there are women who don't want to hear about rescuing themselves because they do it all the time. You are talking down on the first full-length animated feature in history. Generations upon generations, decades upon decades of Snow White being Snow White. The way you're stomping around complaining, you're acting like a toddler. You are a toddler.
It's such a good TikTok. Everything she said is so accurate, right down to saying women do not want to rescue themselves, because that's what we do literally every single day. Thank you, feminism. Thank you very, very much. Maybe we don't want to see that in a movie.
Cooper's rendition of Snow White has not only rekindled love for the backlash against but also highlighted the risks of altering Cooper's version of Snow White is a tribute to the Brothers Zegler has grown stronger because Disney's original animated adaptation proves that audiences still have a deep connection to traditional storytelling and resilience. Why does Rachel Zegler see Brett Cooper's portrayal as a story's legacy? And fans describe her performance as comments about the original Snow White, appreciating that it brings Snow White back to life as they remember her. In contrast, Zegler's modernized version, which removes romantic themes and focuses on female leadership, has been heavily criticized for disregarding core elements of the original narrative. Zegler's public statements, including her apparent dislike for the 1937 film, have only fueled the backlash. Cooper's love for the original story directly contrasts with Zegler's dismissive attitude, creating a clear divide. One actress honors the story's roots, while the other seeks to rewrite them. As a result, fans have rallied behind Cooper as the true heir to the Snow White legacy. This has turned into more than just a casting decision. It's a cultural debate. Online discussions increasingly frame Cooper as a symbol of resistance against Hollywood's modernized takes on beloved stories. Her warm and positive demeanor starkly contrasts with Zegler's defensive responses, further amplifying the backlash against Zegler's portrayal.
Brett Cooper has announced her exit from the Daily Wire. Listen, just from the very beginning, obviously everyone kind of knows the backstory. Last couple of weeks, there's just been some rumors floating around. Some people thought the rumors were ridiculous that she was leaving. Other people were saying that there was a lot of friction that was happening in the background at the Daily Wire. What we know for a fact is that Brett Cooper did, in fact, announce her exit from the Daily Wire on Tuesday. While I was on a plane over to London, I had no Wi-Fi, so I landed and it was just an explosion of text messages. And, you know, I think because the exit came after there were so many rumors floating, people then assumed that all of the rumors were true. There were rumors that her best friend or her maid of honor in her wedding, which is true, obviously, Reagan Conrad would be taking over her show. And people were trying to deduce whether or not that meant that there was a lot of drama in the background. The Spectator did a summary. They're obviously quite respected, and they went through and clawed through all of the internet innuendo and noticed some things. Obviously, one big thing that has been noticed on the internet is that Brett seems to have deleted all of the photos that she had of her and her maid of honor from her profile. So that obviously signals to people that maybe some of that innuendo was true. And then the other aspect, which I was not even aware of until I read this article on The Spectator, was that apparently there was some movement. This is such a Gen Z thing, but I guess they were commenting on all of Brett's posts or something and telling her to wear blue on her last day if she's not allowed to talk about what happened. And then she wore blue. So who knows if she wore blue because it's a normal color to wear and I wear blue probably twice a week, or if she was trying to signal something. Anyways, the long conclusion of this is, as far as separations go, it appears to be as amicable as it can be. She made the announcement. It was quite sad. She did seem like she was upset in it. And then it kind of cut to Jeremy Boring, the CEO. He said nice things about her. And unless she wants to contribute something else or he wants to contribute something else, I don't think there's any reason to look further into it because everybody is moving on in their lives. And that gets me to the next point. Everyone's like, what will happen to Brett Cooper? Brett Cooper is going to be absolutely fine. I mean, beyond fine. Frankly, by the time I hit the ground, I must have had, and I am not kidding, 25 messages from people from all walks of my life asking me, can I have a contact with Brett Cooper? I'm talking about people that want to do her book, people that want to sign her for a show, people that want her to sign her for speeches. But the broader conversation that's going to be really interesting, and I think this is, like, again, it's broader, so it's not even specifically about Daily Wire, but people are kind of debating, you know, if this is what the Daily Wire is doing, and it looks like it perhaps is. And if I'm speaking wrongly here, we're going to find out shortly, obviously. But if we are having this former or this maid of honor take over her show, is that going to work? And that is really interesting because, you know, podcasting is a unique space. It is very personal. It's a new medium. When podcasting exploded, I mean, largely we can attribute that to Joe Rogan. Obviously, Daily Wire was one of the first companies to sort of try to carve out the space of podcasting and say, we're going to house a bunch of podcasters. I would say the Daily Wire and the Blaze kind of hit the ground running. And I think that nobody has really stopped to consider, can you just do that like late night TV? Can you do that like The View, where you can just keep swapping hosts and go, okay, well, now it's going to be the comment section with someone else. Is the audience going to like that? Or is the audience going to reject that? Now, if I'm just guessing, if this is my company and I'm running it, I'm going, no, I think podcasting is too personal. I think people sign up for a YouTube channel because they're signing up for that person. It remains to be seen. Obviously, they haven't done this yet. This will be an experiment for them. But I do think it starts a conversation about what it says about both Brett and the Daily Wire if they do it. Like, I think if I'm instructing what I would do, I would just create an entirely new show if you're going to bring in new talent. Otherwise, it kind of feels like, okay, well, is this just all scripted? Is that the real Brett Cooper? Did she just train to do this show and that's not actually her personality? I'm asking these questions. I know the answer to this. Obviously, it is her personality. That is very much Brett's personality behind the scenes. This is how she talks. She's very bubbly and very excited. So I don't know if that's like the message that you want to send, that we can just like train someone else like a monkey to do the exact same thing rather than just create a whole new show around somebody else. Also, she's super young. She's got just a lot of gas left into the tank. She's going to be everywhere in 2025. So we just want to wish her a lot of luck.
The answer is simple. Rachel Zegler may see Brett Cooper's portrayal of Snow White as a threat because it directly challenges her modernized vision and exposes the controversy surrounding her approach. Cooper's performance, rooted in respect for the original story, highlights how far Zegler's interpretation deviates from what many fans cherish. While Zegler's Snow White promotes independence and leadership, Cooper's version embraces innocence, kindness, and love, elements that fans deeply resonate with. This contrast not only invites unfavorable comparisons, but also forces Zegler to confront the reality that audiences may not be as accepting of her vision as she had anticipated. Her own dismissive comments about the 1937 film have already alienated many fans, while Cooper's reverence for the story has endeared her to the audience. At its core, this is not just about two actresses, but about a broader ideological clash: traditional storytelling versus modern reimaginings. Zegler's defensive stance suggests that she is aware of the backlash her approach has received and feels threatened by Cooper's growing support. Instead of focusing on her own strengths, her criticism of Cooper risks making her appear petty and disconnected from audience expectations. The more fans embrace Cooper's performance, the more Zegler's approach is criticized, creating a cycle that intensifies their rivalry.
I like the beginning.
In time a prince would come, once upon a time, but now that time
Brings me back to my childhood.
is gone.
No freaking way! No! Yo! Brett Cooper?
No way. Hold on. So Brett Cooper, if you're watching this, Isaac cried.
Yeah.
So I know that there's a lot of millions of men that cried.
Yeah.
But Isaac is one of them. But this says Snow White and the Evil Queen coming Bentkey. I guess that's like the production company they have.
No, that's their new children's program. So Daily Wire just released an entire children's section.
Okay, yeah, you're right. But it's coming in 2024, which the other Snow White movie is supposed to come in 2024 as well.
She's so hot.
Is she?
I'm a narcissist. Original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
Okay.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. And then it became like, I will elbow everyone out of the way to play the part. That people will assume is a love story just because like we cast a guy in the movie, Andrew Burnap. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
I say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
And we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
It's really very simple. And there you have it. Rachel Zegler versus Brett Cooper, a clash of creative visions and ideologies. Zegler's strong criticism of Cooper's Snow White may stem from insecurity or fear of being overshadowed, while Cooper's faithful portrayal has gained immense support, exposing flaws in Zegler's modernized approach. This is not just about two actresses. It's a cultural battle over tradition versus innovation and what we truly want from our stories. Will Disney's Snow White fail under the weight of controversy, or will the Daily Wire's traditional take prove stronger? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Are you Team Zegler or Team Cooper? Don't hold back, and make sure to subscribe to Woke Informant for more unfiltered takes on Hollywood's biggest controversies. Until next time, keep questioning the stories you're being told, and who's telling them.
It out and said, I like learning about the Snow White movie and realizing that Peter Dinklage took roles away from hardworking actors who have dwarfism so that he can pretend that he helped others by bitching. And then another person said, hey Snow White fans, if you were looking forward to the new live-action Snow White and don't know the whole story, you can thank Peter Dinklage for this. He felt threatened by anybody his height getting a dwarf role because people might realize that he is overrated. So obviously, I had to look into this. I did a little Google searching, and I found this article from 2022. Peter Dinklage says the seven dwarfs are an insult, but the reality is more complex. So the article says, during a conversation regarding Disney's upcoming live-action remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Dinklage praised Disney for casting a Latina actress as Snow White, but condemned them for continuing to present what he believed were outdated stereotypes. Now, this interview happened in January of 2022. It was published in February, but this happened in January. The article goes on, and they quote Dinklage saying, literally, no offense to anything. No, you're taking offense. But I was sort of taken aback.